Hello to all our wonderful AMA regenerative medicine and skincare patients and friends, those of you who come for treatments and those of you who just log on to learn. Today, we have a special guest representing a brand new technology in the industry and a brand new technology for us. It's called transcranial magnetic stimulation. And what can I say? Faith, who sits here right next to me, is a person who gave me the treatments when I was brain injured. So I know you're curious about that. So let me get through that real quick. Basically, a couple of years ago, I had a tumor in my spine. A number of conventional surgeries all failed. The specialists, the best neurosurgeons at Stanford and at Cedars-Sinai all said I was a goner. There was nothing they could do for me. So we went the unconventional route, essentially IRM medicine, the kind of medicine we practice here. And we found one of our colleagues, Dr. Sowell, who used cryogenic freezing of tumors to get at my tumor. He killed my tumor, and I owe him my life. However, at the end of that procedure, I was in so much pain that I was induced into a coma. And I was in a coma for a few days. And when I came out of the coma, I had lost my memory, which was painful beyond belief because I couldn't even remember my kids. But let's not get into that. And I needed to do something to return my health, my well-being, my joy, my memory. I needed to do something for my brain. And lo and behold, we found out about something called transcranial magnetic stimulation, which is a device that uses, well, we'll take a deep dive into the science later, but essentially magnetic fields around the head that can very, very precisely focus on different parts of the brain. Because as you know, different parts of the brain do different things. Now, I went to a neurosurgeon who was a specialist in this, and Faith was the one there in that office that treated me. And right away, we saw the differences. And it was amazing. Absolutely incredible.
So TMS is already FDA approved in the United States to treat depression, OCD, and smoking cessation. If we look over to the European Union, they're actually using it for a wide variety of diagnoses. And here in the United States, at research centers and academic centers, they can use it to treat anything from Alzheimer's to anxiety, to neuropathy, even to pain, chronic pain that comes from neurological diagnoses, which is super interesting. It can be used to help regain some motor skills in cases of a stroke, which is what they're using it for now.
All of those things relate to me because 2 months ago, I was in a wheelchair, and now I'm walking without any help at all. We use the magnetic stimulation coils not only on my head, but also on my spine, way back here where the tumor was, and where now there's a lot of damage from all those surgeries. What more can you tell us about other people with other conditions and how they experience the treatments?
So a lot of different patients kind of feel the stimulation differently. No two brains are the same, and neither are the nerves in your head. But no patient has ever told me that it's too painful. It might be a little bit uncomfortable as you get used to that new feeling. But there are really no negative side effects. There's a very small chance that you might get a headache or some scalp sensitivity, but compared to other medications and other treatments, the worst thing that can happen is honestly that nothing happens, which is a great alternative to some other things out there on the market.
It's not very often that a doctor can tell you this is actually a cure. It's not a treatment, it's a cure. People with severe depression can cure their depression with this technology and never have to treat their depression again, or their PTSD, or on and on.
Well, there's a couple of different ways to go about doing the treatment. What makes the customized protocols really interesting is that we can do anything from 1 session a day to 5 sessions a day, anywhere up to 10 sessions a day. So one of the protocols that does 10 sessions a day is actually for depression. It's called SAINT, S-A-I-N-T. It was developed over at Stanford. You do 10 sessions of TMS over the course of 5 days, and the remission rate for depression was about 94%. What's really, really incredible about this, like Dr. Milgram was saying, is that you don't need to be on medications for your entire life. Sometimes you might need to come in for a quick little booster session, but you're essentially taking the worst version of your brain to the best version of your brain. We're not giving you anything into your system. We're working with what's already inside of you to empower your brain to be its best self, which in turn makes you your best you.
who is a good candidate for this? Obviously, people with memory issues like me because of the trauma, the coma that I had. Obviously, any kind of trauma, PTSD, all those OCD, all those things that we talked about. But who might have those things? Like people who are in a car accident. Who else?
So PTSD can come from any part of life. I think we can all agree that just living in general kind of makes you susceptible to all kinds of trauma. So as you kind of develop and as your brain becomes more plastic and it starts to mold, your brain can kind of start to solidify itself into more negative neuronal pathways. So TMS is really great at breaking those things down. But then we also have the brains that aren't necessarily neurotypical, which by no means is not a bad thing at all. But it can make it really difficult to function in everyday life. So some of those things could be ADHD, having trouble focusing, sitting still in a classroom. Even right now, I myself have ADHD and I'm finding it really difficult to sit still. So TMS can actually help with that, giving you the ability to focus, not fidget as much. Sit down. People who have autism, who get very overstimulated with bright lights, loud sounds in public spaces, who have a very, very difficult time, maybe even functioning by themselves, depending on where they are on the spectrum. TMS can also help with that. For people who are nonverbal, it can help them be able to communicate better through whatever mode they feel most comfortable with. It can help them not be overstimulated in public or in classrooms if they're a little bit younger, or even in college settings. It's also really great for athletes. So I actually study CTE and work with a lot of NFL players.
CTE
is chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
Brain injuries from getting knocked around in the head, whether it's soccer or football or ice hockey, you name it. So you studied CTE. Go on.
I've had the experience of seeing some postmortem dissections. So when people pass away, they donate their brains to science. Very elite athletes who did get hit in the head over and over and over again. And there's absolutely a huge change in their brain in comparison to a healthy person. This has been very widely studied. And sports are never going to go away. I think Americans especially love football. They love soccer. They love hockey. But unfortunately, these players, they're so passionate. They love the game, and we love them. So how can we help keep them healthy? How can we make sure that when they age and as they get older, that they're still cognitively able to function, that they don't have behavioral issues, that they're not depressed or have severe anxiety, which is what we see in a lot of these players as they age. TMS is a great treatment for that. And you can use that in your postseason. You can use that in your preseason. You can even use that during your season. What that's doing is protecting your brain long-term and your long-term cognitive health, which I think is so important for every single athlete and for athletes' families to have that peace of mind that when you're watching your loved one out on the field doing what they love, that their brain and their health is going to be okay and they will be okay.
We have a whole program here of IRM medicine for athletes that is split into 3 different sections. The time when they are practicing before the season starts. And then, of course, there is post-game and right before the game, like the week before the game. And they need different kinds of medicines and different kinds of treatments that we do here. So they are pumped up and ready to go. And they're just incredibly strong on the court or in the ring. And then there is post-game or post-injury if they're a fighter. So whatever the issue is, TMS and IRM medicine can make an enormous difference, and we look forward to the next iteration of this ongoing saga into TMS medicine.